Where are you? That's the title of today's video. And it's a metaphor for discovering where someone is on a health continuum and knowing how to help someone. So we all have goals and dreams of what we want to do and where we want to be in our physical health or our financial health or in relational health. The hardest thing for us humans to deal with, even if you're the doctor or the physical therapist or the personal trainer or the yoga instructor, is the assessment of where someone is. For the person themselves, it's a hard thing to deal with because sometimes we always want to be, our egos want us to be somewhere ahead of where we truly are, and we have a hard time connecting to where we are. The problem is if we don't deal with where we are and accept that reality, it's the best metaphor I come up with is imagine you want to go to New York and it seems kind of cool to be in Dallas, Texas. But in reality, you're in Anchorage, Alaska. So even though you want to be in Dallas because it's a cool place to be, or physically you want to be at this level of competency, but in reality, you're not at that level. You're somewhere else. So what happens is if a care plan starts and you're not that level, you may be doing something, but the results can be really weird and kind of mixed up because the original assessment of where you are was incorrect. So that also has to deal with dealing with then how do you know that physically is understanding a continuum. And the continuum is very simple, and I like to use the FMS or functional movement screen. The reason why I like it is because it's based upon early childhood development. It goes from open chain to closed chain, and some of you may not understand what I just said. But when a baby laid on the floor on their back, their feet didn't touch the floor. When you touch the floor, it's called closed chain movement. Or you could think you're now in higher forms of gravity. When a person gets injured, they typically go and lay down on the floor, more in open chain movement. A lot of times down there at that place where our feet don't touch the floor, our bodies can kind of reboot themselves like a computer system that crashes. It goes all the way down, and then you slowly start bringing it up in different modes, like a safe mode. So that's what I call pain and injury, is you want to bring a person up in a safe mode, and each time you load a new capability of like crawling or doing something higher on the continuum like squatting, you kind of check that system and make sure you're not going to crash it again. So if you're the therapist or you're a client or it's yourself and you're trying to move too quickly up in this continuum, in being impatient with yourself and impatient where you are and not accepting the reality of where you are or where your client is, you'll progress them too quickly and you'll crash their system again and they'll be back in pain or some weird stuff starts to show up. So that's the best metaphor I can use to explain the concept, and I'm not going to get into dealing with that reality as of yet, but just understand where you got to know where someone is, yourself or your client. Make sure you have an accurate assessment and test that theory. How you know is if you start trying to do too much too soon or too much capacity, like instead of 2 minutes of something, you try to do 10 minutes or 5 minutes, you could crash them again. So even though you could be correct in your original assessment, you still don't really know where they are because you're trying to load too much too quickly. It's better to do a little bit less and let that set up, let it assimilate in the brain, let it digest, and see if the system starts to take off, because our bodies are wired to take care of themselves, and if you feed it what it needs, it will move in the right direction. Hope this video helps you. Thanks a lot.